first seal, the second seal, the third seal, and the fourth seal have now all been opened. The first seal was opened on the 23rd of September 2017. It was on this day that the Invictus Games in Toronto, Canada were opened, and the same day the Revelation 12 heavenly sign took place. The dual occurrence of these events are in accordance with the chronology of the book of Revelation that has two timelines, both parallel to one another. Chapters 6 to 11 represent one timeline, and chapters 12 to 19 represent another timeline. Both of these timelines are known as Daniel's 70th week. The second seal was opened on the 2nd of February 2019 when Russia withdrew from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. Nuclear weapons are the greatest sword in the world's arsenal, and peace was taken from the earth when the former Cold War opponents dissolved their treaty. The third seal was opened on the 4th of April 2019 when David Malpass became the World Bank president. The mission statement of the World Bank is as follows. The World Bank Group has two goals: to end extreme poverty and promote shared prosperity in a sustainable way. This mission statement is in essence what the third beast observes when it states, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." Control pricing for basics such as bread, which is made from wheat, and animal feed, which is constituted by barley, equates to ending extreme poverty. Conversely, the statement, "shared prosperity in a sustainable way," is represented by the scriptural statement, "hurt not the oil and the wine," which are luxury goods. It should be noted that in the Greek, the oil is referring to olive oil. The fourth seal is believed to have been opened when the transmission of a novel coronavirus known as COVID-19 was made between a wild beast, probably a bat, and a person in China during December 2019. Here is what Revelation chapter 6 verses 7 and 8 says. "And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." The coronavirus could be considered as a beast of the earth, and certainly the bat from which it was transmitted could also be considered as a beast of the earth. It should be noted that in the Greek, the word for pale is chloros and means pale green. The horse is in fact a pale green horse. This is consistent with the tinge of green that a dead corpse has after a person has become deceased. The green tinge becomes active when, quote, "bacteria generate hydrogen sulfide as a result of reductive catalysis. Hydrogen sulfide reacts with the hemoglobin and forms sulfur hemoglobin that stains the surrounding region green." Unquote. It should be noted that hemoglobin is what normally gives blood its red colour, and sulfur hemoglobin is what causes the green tinge. There is obviously more to the fourth seal than just COVID-19. However, it is the most obvious sign that the fourth seal has been opened. It should be noted that the rider of the fourth horse has authority over a quarter of the earth's population. This does not mean that a quarter of the earth's population is going to die, but rather a quarter of the earth's population is subject to the rider of the fourth horse, who may or may not allow those under his authority to die. In other words, the 1.9 billion people subject to the rider of the fourth horse may indeed live after they have nearly died, and have been granted a stay of execution, so to speak. Once again, the most obvious sign for the fourth seal is the presence of COVID-19, and as with the previous three seals, there is evidence via gematria that there is a connection between the coronavirus and the fourth seal. I would like to turn to this evidence at this time. Links for the first three seals and their gematria evidence can be found in the description box below. Here is the Hebrew spelling for coronavirus, which can be authenticated by going to the Hebrew entry for coronavirus on the Wikipedia. It should be noted that Hebrew is read from right to left. The first Hebrew letter in the spelling of corona is kuf, and it has a value of 100. Vav has a value of 6, Resh has a value of 200, there is another Vav which has a value of 6, Nun has a value of 50, and Hey has a value of 5. Virus is spelt with a Nun which has a value of 50, Gimel which has a value of 3, Yud which has a value of 10, and Pei in its final form has a value of 800. Normally Pei has a value of 80, but we are using final form standard Hebrew gematria, in which case it has a value of 800. There are 5 Hebrew letters which, if placed at the end of a Hebrew word, have a final form, or a sophit. They are Kaf, which has a value of 20, and its final form has a value of 500. Mem, which has a value of 40, and its final form has a value of 600. Nun has a value of 50, as previously spoken, and the final form has a value of 700. Pei has a value of 80, and its final form has a value of 800. And Sadi has a value of 90, and its final form has a value of 900. These values can be verified using the Wikipedia entry for gematria. If we add together the value for each of these letters, we get 1230. So coronavirus in Hebrew has a value of 1230 using final form standard Hebrew gematria. Also equaling 1230 is the phrase the fourth seal, using a combination of standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, and Latin gematria. Using standard English gematria, it has a value of 1013. Using ordinal English gematria, it has a value of 158. And using Latin gematria, it has a value of 59. If we add these numbers up together, we get 1230. This is incredible. This means that in English, the term the fourth seal equals coronavirus in Hebrew, using final form standard Hebrew gematria. Using ordinal Hebrew gematria, coronavirus disease in Hebrew equals 169. Also equaling 169 is the phrase fourth seal, using ordinal English gematria and Latin gematria or single-digit gematria combined. Using ordinal English gematria, fourth seal has a value of 125, and using Latin gematria it equals 44. 125 plus 44 equals 169. The same value for coronavirus disease in Hebrew using ordinal Hebrew gematria. Using standard English gematria, coronavirus, COVID, equals 1639. Also equaling 1639 is pale horse, the fourth seal, using a combination of standard English gematria and ordinal English gematria. Also equaling 1639 is the word COVID, using the combination of standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, Jewish Old English gematria, Base 6 English gematria, and Latin gematria. Using cardinal standard English gematria, green horse equals 3998. Also equaling 3998 is coronavirus COVID, using a combination of standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, Jewish Old English gematria, and Latin gematria. Using cardinal ordinal English gematria, coronavirus equals 904. Also equaling 904 is green horse, using the combination of standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, and Jewish Old English gematria. Using acrophonic ordinal Hebrew gematria, the corona epidemic in Hebrew equals 273. And using ordinal English gematria, pale green horse, fourth seal, also equals 273. Using standard English gematria, corona pandemic equals 446. And using standard Greek gematria, pandemic corona equals 1054. And using standard Hebrew gematria, the corona pandemic equals 561. If we total all three of these numbers, we get 2061. Using standard English gematria binary, the following quote from Revelation chapter 6 verse 8 also equals 2061. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Using Jewish Old English gematria, coronavirus pandemic equals 1455. Also equaling 1455 is the phrase, and with hunger, which is a quote from Revelation chapter 6 verse 8. This is achieved using standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, and Latin gematria combined. Equaling 19,303 is the phrase, the COVID-19 pandemic, using standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, Jewish Old English gematria, Latin gematria, cardinal standard English gematria, and cardinal ordinal English gematria combined. Also equaling 19,303 is the phrase, and I looked and behold a pale horse, which is a quote from Revelation chapter 6 verse 8. This is achieved using standard English gematria, ordinal English gematria, Jewish Old English gematria, base 6 English gematria, standard English gematria binary, Latin gematria, cardinal standard English gematria, and cardinal ordinal English gematria combined. It should be noted that the gematria calculations for the fourth seal are not as extensive as those for the third seal, the first seal, and lastly the second seal respectively. In other words, the third seal has the highest number of gematria correlations, and the fourth seal the least. I believe this reflects the subtlety of the third seal, and conversely the obtuse nature of the fourth seal. If you have not been following along, counting each seal as they open, then you will be less likely to concede that the corona pandemic is evidence of the fourth seal, no matter how obtuse or how obvious.